share with the girls. Roland gave us a little video clip to put in the background, but I think I don't want to fiddle too much with the technology. So let's just hear the words.
Did you get anything from Susan or Roger? No.
Hi. I'm just speaking on behalf of all the grandkids. So this is Remembering Grandpa by Sarah, Emma and Abby. Grandpa was a great man who inspired all of us to celebrate his life. We have compiled 10 things we love about Grandpa. Grandpa loved the environment. He always spoke about leaving a little footprint on the earth, inspiring us to do the same. He taught us to peel an apple with a knife rather than a peeler, and always said an apple in the morning is gold, in the afternoon is silver, and in the evening is lead. He also kept a steady supply of bulldog coming in while he was here, which I'm sure we can all attest to. He taught each of us to do Sudoku, and thus created a love of puzzles and strong logic, which we still love. He would write us an aerogram letter once a month, excluding the last few when he had to use paper and an envelope, as SA no longer makes aerograms. And we would sit and read at dinner. We look forward to hearing from him, and we now have a folder full of his words to keep. We've always made memories of Grandpa taking a nap on the couch after lunch, mouth wide open, allowing all the flies to fly in. And I'm sure many of you, after a braai or party with my grandpa, have seen the same scene. Abby, when she was a toddler, would sometimes throw a pillow when no one was looking, so he would wake up and read to her. He was great at reading stories, and we remember plenty of those from when we were younger. He was in great demand for bedtime stories when visiting. Grandpa knew different bird calls. He loved copying bird calls when we were out walking, and would tell us which each species of bird he could hear. Dad now does the same, but it's not as good. He and Gran introduced us to the world of gemstones, which Abby is still enthralled with, and between us we have a super large collection. We had such great times together on the cruises we went with Gran and Grandpa. Whether it was missing visa, picking up the wrong luggage, or a refusal to wear a suit to the fancy dinners, he created some fun memories to look back on. Lastly, Grandpa was always happy to do anything we asked of him. He painted ceramics, went to the beach, the park, played board games and did puzzles. Anything we wanted to do was okay with him. We adored him and we miss him very much. Sarah, Emma, and Abby. Quite a few of those points I can attest to myself. To me, Grandpa was very much quietly in the back, but always there when you needed him. And this doesn't come as strongly as in my earliest memory of him. I must have been about 5 or 6 and Sasha not even 2. My grandpa decided to take us fishing. So all the gear in the bakkie and all of us in the back seat, we drove to the edge of the sea and found a great fishing spot. And we set up all the rods, and then we sat. And we sat. And for a 6-year-old and a 2-year-old, sitting is not a fun task. And within 5 minutes, we were building sandcastles, leaving Grandpa with all the fishing rods. But he sat by, did his fishing, and watched us play sandcastles, and eventually we dragged him across to help build the moat. Grandpa was also, as mentioned, very much environmentally conscious. And one of the things I loved about him was, although his body was getting old, his mind was still very young. He never let his mind get dull. And he was always asking questions, always asking about black holes and why does this happen and does this attribute to climate change, and always pushing what he saw on television. All the David Attenborough shows he watched, he would say, I don't think that's right. But as we all know, Grandpa was adverse to technology. He never got a phone, despite what everyone told him to do. I don't think he ever touched Gran's laptop. And so I became his official Googler. And so every question or query, every discussion that we had, I was quickly Googling facts hurriedly to feed his curiosity. Which, as now I reflect on, was amazing because when I was younger, he was Google. Grandpa was Google. If you had a question about the birds, if you had a question about the trees or the sound, it was ask Grandpa. You know, what is this stone? Ask Grandpa. What does this do? Ask Grandpa. Why are we doing this? Ask Grandpa. You know, Grandpa was the original Google. And so I remember these fond memories with him, and me, Sasha and I both will keep him in our hearts forever and always.
Thank you. Grandchildren. Wow. Would anyone else like to come up? Helen.
Yeah.
I've got a short tribute from my daughter Bronwyn, which I need to find on my phone, and then I will read it to you half a minute. She's very good at writing prose and poetry, so it's very short, but it's quite succinct. Here we go. Bronwyn says of Dave, from post-lunch naps, which Katya referred to turning up unannounced in our garden picking mushrooms, you knew how to devour life, where it matters. Nature was your call, your drive, your all. If nature made a call, you could mimic it. You even seemed somehow to comprehend it. We will always love and miss you. That every time we're lucky enough to go on a game drive, your words and calls will go with us. Rest in peace, Uncle Dave. And then from the rest of the family, I'm going to get emotional now, which wasn't meant to happen. I've known Dave almost as long as Gwen has, I think. When we first were married, Bob and I remember her phoning me one day and saying, I've met this fellow, and will you and Bob come for tea, because I'd like you to give me an idea of what you think about him. So we went out for tea at the Pepper Pots in Bertha's Hill, as it then was, and met Dave. And he certainly was a different type of person. He was the ideal partner for Gwen. They've just made such an amazing couple over the years. And we have, as a family, have enjoyed so many incredible holidays together. We've been to the Kruger Park, and I remember learning about Butterbur eagles and lilac-breasted rollers and all sorts of creatures that I could never name initially. We had a lovely holiday to Namibia a few years ago, and we've just had so many special times together, times in the Berg as well as in nature. So we'll have lots of great memories of David. And Gwen, you can call upon us, my love, at any time. We're right there for you. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Helen. Would anyone else like to come up? All right, should we restart the Zoom before I off my little Honda?
So we're going to end it and then